So what do you do when you fail a major exam? Do you cry? Do you quit? Oh, thanks. Oh my gosh. These are the results from my test. So I'll know if I'm going to be a nurse or not. I'm so excited. My whole family's here. Okay, guys, take pictures if you want. I don't know what to think. Yeah, I'm okay. I failed. I failed the exam. So you failed the exam. You bombed it and you just kind of don't know how to pick yourself up and get going again. It's very discouraging when you fail an exam. And I know because I failed an exam before. Now, this video is basically for those of you that are taking the NP certification exam, for those of you that are taking the NCLEX, and for those of you that are taking the entrance exam for the licensed practical nursing program. I've taken all of those exams and I know how to pass them, but we're not going to talk about study techniques with this video. I want to talk a little bit about what happens after you fail the exam. I've gotten a lot of private messages from people that have failed exams and they've kind of sort of given up a little bit. It's been a year and I haven't retested yet. I'm really embarrassed about it. I feel really bad about it. I don't know how to pick myself up. So basically, we're going to talk a little bit about failing. What happens when you fail an exam? I know you cry, you feel upset and embarrassed and discouraged, and you just don't know what to do. And I know those feelings because I failed an exam before in the past. I did not fail the NP exam. I did not fail the NCLEX, but I did fail the entrance exam for LPN. It was called the PSB. And this was back in 1998. And it was the beginning of me trying to get into the nursing field so that I could start my career. I kept that paper. This was sent to me in 1998, the failed exam. You can see this little red star here. I failed one part, which was the judgment part. And along with the paper showing that I failed, I also got a paper saying that I was eligible for one more attempt to take the exam. So the pressure was on. I'll tell you guys that you have an advantage if you fail the NCLEX or the NP certification exam because you don't have one more attempt. You are able to retest. And you're able to continue retesting until you pass. Sometimes there are stipulations such as doing some continuing education credits or waiting for a certain amount of time, 30 days or 60 days or something, which is fine because it gives you time to study. But for me, back then, I was a teenage mother and I was stepping out on faith to do this. And I failed. So just imagine how I felt when I opened that letter. Oh my goodness. I felt like a failure. But with tears streaming down my face, I called the number on that second page where they said you have one more attempt. Call this number to reschedule. And that was the first thing I did. I need to retest. I need to take the test over. There was no way I was going to give up. This was sink or swim. And by golly, I was going to swim. So for those of you that have failed the NP certification exam, the NCLEX, the LPN entrance exam, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, start studying, and basically get going. I wrote down on my iPhone here, I always have it with me, some tips for you guys. The first tip is going to be to reschedule the exam. Reschedule, because that is going to be your motivation, and that is going to be the pressure for you to go ahead and get started with some serious focused study. So tip number 2 is going to be to log your study hours. Sometimes we are not studying as much as we think we are. You study for an hour and you're, oh, I'm so tired, I've been studying for a few hours, but you were probably looking at your phone for a while and seeing what's on the latest Instagram or Facebook, and you studied less than you thought you did because of distractions. And that happens to all of us. It happens to me a lot too. So turn everything off, and you need to log the hours that you've actually studied so that you can have you can honestly review how many hours you're putting in. Because for me, if I fail an exam, everything is going to be shut off, and I am going to study from daybreak until I get ready to go to bed every day until the test. If you're working, then on my lunch break, I'm studying. So it's all about focused study and really concentrating on what you're doing and eliminating distractions. The next tip that I wrote down would be stop focusing on things you already know and focus on things that you don't know. I had a tendency to study over and over and over again things that I kind of already got. I don't know. It just made me feel like, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. And the truth is, we need to study things that we feel uncomfortable about, things that we don't know much about. And sometimes you get overwhelmed when you start reading all of this information and you kind of feel like, I don't know this stuff. Then it makes you feel like you don't know anything, but just realize that you're learning it. So it's good. Like, wow, I found something that I don't know. I'm going to focus on this until I get it. Do not move forward until you get it. And that's something that I had to force myself to do when I was studying for the MP certification exam. I hated when I would read overwhelming information that made me feel like, I don't know what this is. I really don't understand it. This is like up here and I'm really not getting it. Well, I would sit there the whole day if I had to until I completely understood it and until I could explain it in layman's terms to someone else. So focus on things that you do not understand. Let's see what else I have. Get rid of distractions. And basically, I talked about that a little bit previously, a few minutes ago, actually. Just turn your phone off. Get rid of anything that is going to take your attention off of what you're studying. Even if that means turning your phone on off for a few hours and making sure the television is off and just making sure that anything that's going to distract you is eliminated. So that's a good way to go. And then tip number 4 is going to be to believe in yourself. I have to have these little pep talks with myself all the time, every day. You're worth it. You're intelligent. You can do this. Just because you failed doesn't mean that you're a failure. You just failed an exam, and it's not the end of the world. You still have your family, you're still alive, you still have yourself. And that's what I tell a lot of nurse practitioner students and a lot of RN students, that yes, this exam is extremely important. But if you don't pass the exam, it's not the end of all things. So take a deep breath and just realize it's a test, and either you're prepared and you're going to pass it, or you're not going to pass it. And if you don't pass it, then you have the opportunity to take it over and take it over and take it over. And I'll tell you guys that if I were in your shoes and I did not pass an exam and I was able to continue to take it over, I would take it over until I know the exam by heart, because I'm not going to stop. And then something changes when you think that way. When you start thinking in the way of, no matter what happens, I am going to pass this. I have to. And if I fail it, I'm going to give myself this one chance to think about if I fail. If I fail, then I'm going to go back 1,000 times harder. So you have to think that way, because if you think any other way, you are setting yourself up for failure. When you think you're going to fail, you're going to fail, because you can only do what you think you can do. So this is extremely, extremely important. And then the last tip number 5, would be to reach out to other people. Reach out to people. If you don't understand something and you've devoted a lot of time to study and research, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, I don't get it, then you need to reach out to someone. Email, call, or just whatever you need to do for understanding. And that's okay. That's okay. You should be surrounding yourself with people that don't mind you asking questions anyway. And that's what I do. I try to surround myself with people that don't care if I ask questions, and they don't try to make me feel bad. So a lot of the people that you surround yourself with should be people that want you to succeed, and that people that want you to be successful. That's super important. So those are my tips for today. I hope this helped you guys. And for those of you that messaged me, you know who you are. And I just want to say that never give up. Never give up. If I had given up when I was pregnant at 16, a high school dropout, I would not have the life that I have today. I only live this way, and I've only accomplished what I've accomplished by the grace of God and from persistence and determination and the fire within me that would not allow me to quit. So have I ever wanted to quit? Yes, of course, 1,000,000 times. But I never went through with it because I knew it was sink or swim. And I rather swim. Say that every day to yourself, that you will be successful and you will pass and you will accomplish your dreams. It's really important how you look at yourself and your life and your future. So I hope this helps, and I have a lot of amazing videos coming for you guys. Please leave questions and comments below in the comment box. Love you guys. Bye.